Hey guys, coming in for Supergirl Season 1, Episode 2, Stronger Together. Now, I was definitely looking forward to this episode. I haven't reviewed this show since July, so obviously, I was looking forward to watching this episode because, I've really wanted to see the second episode for a very long time. I didn't even watch the premiere last week because I've had to watch, the Switch at Birth finale and review that to you guys. But now, Supergirl, I can actually review new episodes, which is great. And this episode, for the most part, was great. I did have one problem with this episode that I will get into. It's a major problem right now, but I think they can fix it as the season goes on. But overall, guys, I'm really liking this show. There were actually some improvements, I think, from the first episode. I don't think this episode was as strong as the first episode, but I still thought this was a really great episode. Yeah, I thought this episode was a bit better than the first episode, but then there were some things I thought was a little bit, than the first episode. Overall, guys, I really did love this episode, and I really am loving this show, I have to say. I know a lot of people aren't liking this show, but me personally, I'm just liking it for what it is. You guys have to just know, don't go into the show wanting it to be something that it's not. Just go into it knowing it's a fun show, and that's exactly what this is. I had a lot of fun with this episode, and I really loved it. So we start with Kara being trained by the DEO. They're shooting missiles at her, running her rag before Kara is called away to deal with a massive fire at the port. And after trying to blow out the fire and simply make the fire worse, she pushes an oil tanker, potentially a giant bomb in this circumstance, away from the dock to safety, but she cracks its bow and causes an oil spill. And I really like seeing Supergirl actually not really being able to control this, because she is a new superhero. She's not a god. She can't do everything, right? I like seeing her actually struggle a bit. It's something that I think is definitely very well done. And that's something that a lot of these superhero shows I don't think do very well. Like The Flash did this at first, but I think Supergirl did this more, and I like that they did that because that's something that separates it, and I really like that. A lot of this episode deals with how do you be a superhero when a lot of people know your secret, and how do you keep that secret, which I thought was very interesting overall. So the next morning, she arrives early at work and she smells like burning oil. And Maxwell Lord is on TV saying they don't want Supergirl in National City. They think she's like a terrorist. Well, not really a terrorist, but they think she's just causing damage. They think that she is just very dangerous and that she should not be out there. And again, I found this very interesting. So Kat, I actually liked in this episode. I didn't think Kat was too bad. One of my biggest complaints was Kat. I did not hate her in this episode. I didn't think she was too annoying. I think definitely they heard fans' complaints, and I think they're going to make her a more likable character, which I think they did do well in this episode. Kat immediately calls a meeting to complain about Supergirl. She wants to interview Supergirl and insists James call on Superman to make it happen, and Kara's reaction to Kat wanting Supergirl is great, because, Kat's the only one that doesn't know that she's Supergirl. And I don't think Kara plans on telling Kat anytime soon. I mean, why would she trust Kat? It's just, there's no way that Kara would ever tell Kat. If she does, I think she's going to tell Kat eventually, but right now, at least, there's no way that she's going to end up telling Kat. I just cannot see Kara doing that. So, in the lobby afterwards, Kara tells James she doesn't want to do the interview, obviously, because she thinks Kat would recognize her, and she just thinks that's too simple. And he says that she wouldn't because he saw for years with Clark the way nobody really pays attention. And that's true. I mean, if you look at Superman, nobody's ever, Clark Kent, the only difference is that one has glasses, one doesn't. Nobody really has paid attention. I like the way they actually kind of made fun of that because, yeah, it's true. I mean, I've heard so many complaints of people saying, why does Clark Kent just have glasses? That's the point, and I think that's very good here. Kara, the only difference is that she has glasses, and then when she's a superhero, she doesn't. It's just like Superman, which I love. So he gives Kara a little pep talk about saving the city, and I'm really liking James and Kara's bond, I have to say. I definitely really like it. And something I like is that they're not making this like a love interest sort of situation. James is not the Iris of Supergirl, You know how people always complain about Barry and Iris on The Flash? I don't think that's what James is at all. He's actually a really good character. Really like when they're do with him. And, very much, Kara needs someone like James because James knows Superman. He knows how Superman acts, and Kara really needs someone like him, and I really like the bonding between them. So he gives Kara a little pep talk about saving the city, tells her not to worry about the interview, and I definitely really love that scene. So at the chemical plant, a couple of security guards are debating Supergirl's role in town when they see an intruder. He turns on them, revealing himself to be an alien and chasing down and then killing one. And the villains in Subs were actually pretty good. I think they were definitely better than Vartox. Vartox wasn't a bad villain. It just was very cheesy and very over the top. And this might have been a bit cheesy, but it went with the storyline, which I liked. So later, the DEO and Supergirl meet at the plant. When one of the DEO techs pulls a long, bony thorn-like claw blade out of the dead man, Supergirl then flashes back to her childhood on Krypton, and she's remembering this alien race called Hologramites, and basically they produce this similar protrusion in their victims. And I like seeing this flashback between Alura and Kara. I definitely like seeing that, Kara's a little girl, and she tells the DEO that's what they're looking for. They're looking for these Helgramites, and they all believe that he's stealing components to make a chemical bomb. So obviously, they don't trust these Helgramites and want to do whatever they can to stop them, which would make sense, obviously. Why wouldn't they want to stop them? So Henshaw in this episode was very interesting because in the very beginning of the episode, you see Henshaw telling Kara you're not going fast enough. And of course, if we know what that means from The Flash, this guy's not to be trusted. I don't trust Henshaw one bit. I mean, after this episode, especially at the end, he seems very, very shady. I don't know what exactly Henshaw is hiding, but I don't trust him really at all. I definitely don't trust Henshaw. So Henshaw sends Alex and Kara into a large room where she's bombarded by low-grade kryptonite to dampen her powers, and the two spar, and eventually, after Alex is roughing her for a while, Kara gets frustrated and storms off. She really doesn't feel she needs this training. She's really pissed at Henshaw, with how he doesn't trust her, and I can understand Kara's point. I mean, it's basically just distracting her from the main threat out there, and they're doing all this stuff, and it's just not something that she really wants to be doing. She wants to fight, and he's not letting her, and I can understand why she's really upset about it. So I definitely like that. I like seeing Kara really upset at Henshaw, because it makes sense why she's upset with him. So back at Catco, Kara brings Kat's lunch, sees a headline the Cat wrote criticizing Supergirl, and Kat says that Superman has made many similar mistakes when he was younger. Superman did things alone, and how he, kind of thought he could do more than he could, but that Supergirl's a young woman, so she's going to be held to different standards and needs to calm down. And I do agree with Kat that Supergirl is, different than Superman. Supergirl needs to do things differently because, obviously, there are things that Superman can do that Supergirl just can't do. That's just how it is. Supergirl can't just go around and be this, heroic figure. That's more something that Superman can do just because he's a man and she's a girl, and, that's just something that, she can't do, which I can totally understand. Just the difference that he's a man, she's a girl. She needs to show how the two are different, and I definitely do agree with Kat. I definitely like that scene. So Kara asks Win to meet her in the alley, and I am loving Win as a character. Let's talk about Win for a second, though, because Win, as I said, was supposed to be the toy man. That's what it seemed like they were setting him up as, that he, was going to be this toy man, and that because that's what happens to Win the comic book, but they've now made Win a main character, which is awesome. I told you guys in the pilot that I really hope he becomes a main character, and he is a main character. If you guys didn't know, they've made him a main character, which is awesome. But because of that, you can definitely tell they want to go a different route with his character, because they're actually having someone else play the Toy Man. So it doesn't seem like Win's going to become the Toy Man, and I actually like that. I like that the show is trying to do something different, so it's a bit unpredictable. I want this show to be unpredictable. I don't want it to be predictable, and I definitely like that. I like that they're not going the way we think they're going with that, because that's really good. I definitely like that, and I really am loving Win on the show. Jeremy Jordan is doing an awesome job, I have to say. Continues to be one of the best things about the show. Kara asks Win to meet her in the alley, and when he goes to do so, James is there, and there's this really funny scene. They don't want the other one there. You can tell that James and Win don't like each other very much. My only worry is that I was worried this was going to become like a love triangle, but I don't think this is going to. I feel like James is going to develop feelings for Kara, but hopefully they don't make this a love triangle, just because of the fact that I think Win is a better love interest than James will ever be. James is a good guy, I'm not saying that, but I see James as more of a mentor towards Kara than anything. That's kind of how I see him. So before Kara shows up in costume, reveals to each the other that they know her secrets, and I love the scene where they're like, he knows you told him. I thought that was really funny. And she talks about how, James already knew, and Win is her best friend, so obviously she's going to tell him. So, taking Kat's advice, she actually wants to, she actually asks them for help. She takes Kat's advice, which I definitely like seeing. So she wants to help, starting small, and she wants both of them to help her. Which, that's something that Superman never did. Superman always works alone, but Kara doesn't want to do that, which I definitely like seeing. So elsewhere, a pair of Kryptonians hassle the Helgramites, who basically tells them that he needs to eat, and they're upset he didn't stay hidden like the rest of his kind. And Supergirl's aunt Alura then arrives, played by Laura Benatti, who was awesome in this episode, telling the Helgramites that he's to bait to lure out Kara, and basically they're gonna make the Helgramite. I like what she's doing here. So she's making the Helgramites feel like the big threat when really she's the big threat, and I definitely like that. I thought that was definitely really great. So there's a montage of Supergirl doing a variety of good deeds in the community. I like the song in the background. I can't remember what it was, but I definitely like this montage. She's stopping minor crimes here and there. She's just trying to show that she's a good person. She's not a criminal. She's not trying to be a corrupt, superhero. She wants to save the world. She wants to do these good things. She's rescuing people. She even retrieves what she thinks is a cat, but it's actually a snake. And Wynn had the best line of the episode. Who names their snake Fluffy? Hilarious. I love that. I thought that was hilarious stuff, and I thought that was definitely one of the best parts of the episode was that montage. Just little scenes like that, that's really why I'm loving this show. It's a lot of fun. So she heads home to meet up with the team and answers her door when Alex comes to see her. And later, when they're alone, Alex is upset that she told Wynn and James who she is. And I like what Kara says, that she's allowed to have friends. She wants to have a life. She doesn't want it to, she doesn't want her being a superhero to interfere with that. And they talk about the recent changes in their lives and relationships. And Kara asks Alex to believe in her. She talks about it as important as James and Wynn are. The most important person that she wants to believe in her is Alex. And their scenes are just so great. I really do love these two. I've said it before. I said it in the pilot, and I'm going to say it again. I love Kara and Alex's scenes. Because that's something that the Flash and Arrow don't have. Yes, Arrow has Oliver and Thea, but Alex knows right away. Thea had to wait 3 seasons to know, and I like that the show has basically everyone know except for Kat, which it gets rid of a lot of unnecessary drama, which I definitely like, and it separates the shows, which is definitely really great. So Alex's cell phone rings, it's work, and she has to go, and I really like that scene between them. I thought it was really great, and you really see that sisterly bond that they have. One of the best parts of the show by far, and they're definitely handling that very well, I have to say. You can definitely tell that they're starting to realize what makes this, what we like in the show. And I think it's because people saw the pilot back in July. That's why it already feels like they're making changes, which I definitely like. So the DEO, Henshaw reveals that there's been a number of recent attacks on chemical plants, and the DEO realized that he's actually stealing the chemicals to eat, not to make weapons. Which, that's very interesting that we found this out. He wants these chemicals just because he wants to eat, and he's not making them for weapons, which I definitely like. So back at Catco, James tries to shake off Kat's interview demand, because he knows that Kara doesn't want it, and she threatens to fire him if he doesn't get the interview in 24 hours, and, again, I thought Kat was okay in this episode. I thought she was actually pretty funny with this. Kat was kind of annoying in the sense where it's like, can you wait to get your interview? Why do you need it now? I get that she wants to have this interview, but, why do you need it right now? Come on, you can wait. Seriously, you can wait. You don't need this interview pronto. I understand she wants a really good headline for, her company and everything, but you can wait, honestly. You can wait, and Kat she needs to chill. She really does. So I'll say that. So that night, the DEO has set a trap for a Helgramite, trucking a huge batch of DDT towards a storage facility. They try to take him out, but instead he shoots his barbs into all the DEO agents, killing most and injuring Henshaw. He takes Alex hostage. Shortly after, she's face-to-face with Astra. It's not Alura, it's actually Astra, which this got me a bit upset because they come face-to-face with Alura in this episode. And I was upset because this felt really, really fast-paced. And I get that that's kind of the point of the show. But come on, you're telling me we couldn't have panned out the storyline, maybe slowed it down a bit? Why do we need to know about Astra right now? Again, I get that this show is trying to do something different, and I think they can fix this, but my biggest problem with the episode is that they found out that, we already know what's going on with Allura by the end of this episode, which I'll get into. So at his apartment, James tells Kara that he hoped he would stop being just Superman's pal when he relocated to the new city and a new job. And this was probably my favorite scene of the episode. If I had to pick a favorite scene, this was probably it. I definitely really love this scene. And basically, he talks about how he just wanted to get away from all that because he was just known as Superman's pal, the guy that was always with him, and he didn't want that. He wanted to be his own person, and she tells him that the House of L's coat of arms was stronger together. Even though it means the House of L's, it also means stronger together. She wants allies. She doesn't want to operate alone like Superman does, and she wants James to be part of what she does. And I love that. I like seeing Kara do that, and James tells Kara that the one thing that she has that Superman doesn't is a kind heart. She's always thinking of others, which Superman does, but he never really tried to ask anyone for help. He never, wanted the assistance of anyone, and I definitely like seeing this bond that James and Kara have. Again, I think it's just as strong as Alex and Kara. The three bonds in the show that we have are James and Kara, Win and Kara, and Alex and Kara, which I definitely like all three of them, I have to say. And they're all different. That's something I like as well. It's that they're really all different, and I definitely like seeing that. So Kara gets a call on her cell phone. It's Henshaw who tells her that Alex has been abducted. She has not gone to work, and Kara storms in the DEO yelling that she should have been there because she's tired. She yells at Win. She's really upset about the training. She berates him for it, and she has every right to be mad at him. I mean, he's giving her all this unnecessary training, and she asks if he has a family, and he says he did. They're searching the city. Now, when he says he did, I kind of want to find out more of what's going on there. I honestly would like to see some flashbacks with Henshaw, because Henshaw, again, seems like a very shady character. I just don't trust him. I don't know what it is, but I just don't trust Henshaw. So they're searching the city for Alex, and Supergirl joins the haunt via air, listening to the sounds of the city until she hears her sister's voice and darts to her side. She calls into the DEO, giving them a location of the meet, and the voice is because she's talking to Astra, who she first mistakes for Alura. Astra is their evil aunt. Apparently they had two aunts, Alura and Astra. And Astra, I do like this, I have to say, but again, I did feel this was a bit rushed for Supergirl to come face to face with her. I thought they were going to spend some time on it. But, it took the Flash a very long time to figure out what was going on. But again, this show is not the Flash. It's trying to be something different, which I will accept, okay? I think they can do a good job with the storyline. I was just a bit disappointed that this was as abrupt as it was. It was a very well done scene. I will tell you guys that. The way they handled this, I did think was very well done. I just felt it was a bit rushed, and I just felt like now we already know. Like, we spent all that time, and now we already know. So Astra tells her that she hopes to save humanity from themselves, and Supergirl is shocked to see her aunt alive, and learns that Alura had sent her sister Astra to Fort Roz. Basically, she tells Kara that she was exiled for trying to save Krypton, and, of course, Kara thought that Alura was dead, which, she basically is, but she sent Astra out, Allura's not dead, she sent Astra out there, and I'm definitely wondering what's going on between Alura and Astra. Clearly, these two don't like each other very much, but it seems like Alura is still out there. Definitely, she's out there, and she definitely is a big part of this, which I like seeing. There's still more of the story. So I was like, okay, I can get behind this. I can get behind this. I can get behind the fact that they, really rushed this storyline. I can get behind that because they're handling it well. They are. Right? This is not Blind Spot where it's, like, extremely rushed. I thought again, this is episode 2, but I think they handled it very well here, so I can get behind that. So the pair fight while Alex calls in the DEO. A Helgramite jumps her. The two fight, but Alex uses his own barb to stab and apparently kill him. Actually, a pretty thrilling scene, I have to say. I definitely like this. And as Astra starts to get the upper hand against Kara used some of the tips Alex gave her during sparring to gain control. It doesn't last long, though, because, it seems like she's gone. But then she's back, and Henshaw arrives, and when Astra grabs him, he stabs her with a kryptonite dagger, and Astra flies off with a scream, and she's still out there, which I like. I like that Astra is still out there. I was worried that they were just going to kill that off in this episode. Thank God they didn't, because that right now is one of the most interesting things going on in this show. I really want to know more of what's going on with Astra and Alura, and I feel like with her alive, now we can find out what's going on. I want flashbacks. That's really what I want. I want more flashbacks, and that's really my biggest thing here. I want some flashbacks, and I want a more detailed history of what's going on between them, because I think it's going to be very interesting. And I know it's going to give us tons and tons of exposition, but I want that. I want to find out more what's going on there, so I can understand really what's fully going on. I want to know, which I'm sure we will, but I definitely like that. So back at the DEO, Alex and Kara reconnect. Kara wants to be taught how to use her abilities so that she can take down Astra, and it seems like Alex is going to train her without Henshaw, because Kara clearly does not want Henshaw. She does not want Henshaw to train her. She does not trust Henshaw very much, and Alex says the best thing about Kara is that she never let the losses she suffered as a child define her, and I really do agree with Alex. I mean, Kara never talks about, her entire family dying. She never talks about it because she's just trying to move on from it. She's trying to be more independent. She's trying to be this hero. She's trying to do the right thing. And I definitely do agree with Alex. That's something that separates her from all of these superheroes. Oliver from Arrow, he would have let that define him. Barry from The Flash would let that define him. But Kara's not going to do that. And I definitely, even Superman probably would have done that. But Kara's not going to do that. And I love that. I think that's really what separates her from the other superheroes. And I definitely really like that. So she tells Kara that there's something she needs to show her. She brings Kara to a room with a DEO that will only open for Kara, and inside they created a living program which allows Kara to communicate with her mother, which of course that's very reminiscent to the same way that Superman does with Jor-El. I really like these parallels, I have to say. It's something that I definitely really like, definitely. Even though I'm not that familiar with the Superman story, I've seen Superman Returns. Yeah, I've seen Superman Returns. Yeah, I've seen it. But I've seen those, but I haven't seen the other Superman movies, so I'm not that familiar with Superman. I've seen some episodes of Smallville. It's okay. I don't really like Smallville very much, but Kara thanks Alex, who leaves, and you see that Kara just wants to talk to her mother, obviously. She wants to hug her, but her mother says, you can't do that, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens between Kara and this computerized version of her mother. Again, that's something that the Flash and Arrow does not have, which I loved. So Kara thanks Alex, who leaves, and then asks the Alura program for information about Astra, because obviously she wants to know what's going on with Astra, why Astra's out there, why she's back, and I definitely really like that. So outside the room, this was very interesting, and again reiterates the fact that I don't trust Henshaw. Just this scene alone, I don't know how the hell I can trust this guy. There's no way that this guy I can trust. Alex thanks Henshaw for his help making the room. Henshaw says the least he could do for Supergirl, and as he leaves, his eyes start to glow red, and this is basically implying that he's an alien. Now, I don't know if he is working against Kara, if he is, the same kind of thing as Kara, or if he's working for Astra and Allura. I really don't know. I just know that this is very interesting, and this can make his character even more interesting than he was. Not that he was a bad character, per se. I think he was a good character overall, but I think this is just going to make him a lot more interesting than what he essentially has been so far. Which, he's kind of in the whiny, the whiny trainer who is giving her all this unnecessary training, and I think now that we know what's going on with him, I think this is going to make a lot more sense as to why he's doing that, which I like seeing. So elsewhere, Doctor pulls the kryptonite blade out of Astra, and she starts studying it, saying that they might need to rethink their plans unless they can find a way to offset the kryptonite, and you can definitely tell that this doctor is working with Astra, and there's something going on. They have a much bigger plan that, again, we don't know about, and I like that they're keeping it open. So the end of this episode, I really loved. Kat is calling James to complain that he hasn't yet set up her interview with Supergirl, and when the car is lifted in the air, Supergirl sets it down outside of town, and from the air offers to talk to Kat, and that's how the episode ends. So it looks like she is going to go through this interview, and I'm wondering really what's going to happen here. Is Kat going to find out that Kara is Supergirl? It's inevitable, because she's the only person that doesn't know, but I don't think Kara would ever tell Kat that she's Supergirl, because she can't trust her. Kat's a gossip, okay? She's a gossip. She'll tell the whole world. I mean, if Kara tells Kat, that could be really bad, because obviously you can tell the Kat's a gossip, you can tell the Kat wants good news, and if she tells Kat, that could be really, really bad, and that definitely is very interesting. Now, what is going on with Henshaw? Henshaw, again, I don't really trust him. I don't know if he's working for Kara or against Kara, or if he's working with Allura and Astra. I'm not really sure what's going on, but this is all very interesting. He could even be like a friend to Superman for all we know. I honestly don't know. There's a lot going on with Henshaw, and I really like this twist. I'm interested in seeing really what's going on there. Astra and Allura, why is this happening? What is their real plan? What are they really trying to do? I want to know more what's going on there. I like that we don't know right now, because it keeps that open. It keeps that open. It keeps us, guessing, and I like that. I like it when shows don't explicitly tell you what's going on and want to keep you guessing. I definitely like it when shows do that, and this is a great example of a show that's doing that very, very well, I have to say. I definitely really like that. As far as this whole thing going on with, I definitely, like I said, I really like what's going on with Astra. I like seeing the bond between James and Kara. Will Kara be able to maintain, her team and her friends? I mean, obviously, she wants to be different from her cousin, which I like seeing. I like seeing Kara want to do something different than Superman, and it really shows why the show is different from The Flash, why it's different than Arrow, and that's something I really like. I don't want it to be like those shows. I want it to be a different show on its own, and you can definitely tell here that it is being its own thing, and I definitely really love that. But overall, guys, I really did love this episode. Again, I did feel that the Allura storyline was a bit rushed, but I think that they're handling it well in that they're keeping it hidden. They're not telling us fully what's going on, and I like that. I don't want to know what's going on. I want to ask questions. I want to be I want something unpredictable to happen, and I definitely really like that. And so far the show hasn't been too predictable, which I definitely like. I would have never predicted that Astra was working for Allura. I would have never predicted that, but I did predict what was going on with Henshaw. I knew something was going on with him, but I didn't predict that, which definitely I like. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Also, is Alex going to train Kara? I feel like she just doesn't trust Henshaw, but she does trust Alex, so I feel like she's going to train her, and Henshaw's really not. We'll have to see. But let me know what you guys thought of this episode. I thought this was another great episode. I'm really enjoying the show overall, and we'll see you guys in the next video, which will be for Homeland, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.